Well, I'm John Schroder from Covington, running for state treasurer. Well, I recently resigned my seat after 10 years serving in the legislature. I was in the military for 7 years. I served as a CID agent in the Army. I was a narcotics detective after that, and I served in the legislature for 10 years, and we've been in business for about 25, 26 years, my wife and I. I decided to run for state treasurer after spending 10 years dealing with the fiscal issues of the state, and when Senator Kennedy, or then Treasurer Kennedy, ran for Senate, I decided I'd run for state treasurer. The bottom line, I believe the state has a spending problem and has some budgetary issues that we're facing that we just haven't addressed, and it's creating great havoc and strife in state government that need to be corrected. You know, ultimately we have to improve the bond rate in the state. We have to make it attractive for business to want to come to Louisiana, and if our bond ratings aren't favorable, then you know, companies aren't going to want to relocate and do business here in our state. Well, how do you fix that? And the bottom line is we have to get our spending under control. We have a $30 billion budget, and we have to find ways to be more efficient and streamline this process to where we can live within our means. As this economy struggles to get on its feet, you know, oil's going to be down, looks like it's going to be down for a while. We can't continue the spending habits that we have because it's unaffordable. We have an infrastructure in this state that the bottom line is it's not affordable. What happens in your private world, what happens in my private world, what happens in your business world, your expenses have to be less than what you're bringing in. And the problem is right now our state government is spending more money than we have. It's causing a lot of problems, and it's time that it gets addressed. Yeah, I don't think lawmakers are going to have much of a choice. I think the citizens of Louisiana, you can see it across our state. Millages aren't passing, renewals aren't passing. The appetite for taxes are not good. The public has lost faith in the government process and government in general, and I don't think the legislature is going to have much of a choice. Well, you know, I think the biggest issue facing the state of Louisiana is the unstable economy, and at a time when the economy is not stable is not the time where we need to have discussions about raising revenue. We have to talk about how do we have an infrastructure in Louisiana that's affordable by the tax base, by the voters of this state. That's where the conversation needs to be. I don't think the majority of people want to raise revenue, and therefore it doesn't matter what I want or what any legislator wants. I think the majority of the people in Louisiana want government to ultimately live within its means and react and do the same things that we have to do as individuals and taxpayers. Government should follow suit. I ran because as a businessman I understand what it takes to survive. I served my country, I served my state, both as a narcotics detective and in the legislature for 10 years. You know, I've been a public servant for some time, and you know, that's what I bring to the table. As a businessman, I understand what it takes to make payroll, to make an investment and have to return that investment for a profit. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. When it doesn't, you have to scale back your own personal investments and your own personal way of living to survive. And government doesn't do that. I mean, our budget grew by 3.3% and we're in a deficit. That doesn't happen in any place else other than in Baton Rouge. Even local government can't do that. So I think my skill set is I've spent 10 years dealing with budget issues for the state of Louisiana, 8 years sitting on an appropriations committee, fighting with the administrations, and I'll stand up when the Republicans or the Democrats, it doesn't matter to me. This is about mathematics. It's not about the R's and the D's. It's about math. 1 + 1 = 2, and if you spend 2, you're broke. And we need to stop doing that as a state.